this. Okay. So, knowing you for the past 25 years of my life, how independent do you think a child should be after 18? Are there
Pretty
certain
independent,
things?
should be able to have, the basics, I don't know whether it's never taught, but one should be able to develop, the way to take decisions. So I don't know if there is a formal way of, knowing, but how to decide on something, on that there should be a clarity.
Is there a
And
particular?
otherwise, up to 18, one cannot have, a tremendous amount of independence because necessarily, he'll be with the parents and would not have to decide on many of the things. So after that, when he probably moves out of, that kind of a reference frame, then he has more scope and also is compelled, to become more independent.
So, what interests me here is the lack of time, I would say, that one has to transition into independent thought from a very cushioned way of life. And is there any specific checklist or like that's subjective, of course, but do you think it's right that till 18 it's fine, most of the stuff is handled by the family or the parent, and as soon as you're entering college or you're moving out or you become 19, you have to take, let's say, X% of decisions on your own?
No, no, not necessarily. Again, it's circumstantial because people who may not be coming from, well-to-do family where, there may be pressing needs for them to support the income of the family, let's say less privileged people, they would tend to become independent much early, or those people, who may have responsibilities to handle. For example, in my own class in 11th, we had a person, two persons, who lost their fathers. So one
Mhm.
of them, at that point of time only, he got a job in SBI where his father had uh, basically been working. So for him, becoming independent and becoming a decision maker was forced, at a very, very early age, unlike many, who probably would have continued to have a better protected life, in terms of the circumstances and I mean, probably one would again think that, those who have to earn for themselves, those who are forced to become self-dependent, they tend also to become, decision makers. And those, who have got a greater level of protections or layers of protection, they can afford, to let it be there till, a time comes when mostly, they don't have that layer and they've got to do it by themselves. Usually, in that case, one would say that typically, let's say in a joint family, maybe, at the time a person gets married, so he has his own life, maybe his own kids. So then that would be forcing him, to become a decision maker and doing things by himself. Or in case he is in a job which is transferable, where he's living, away from the typical, environment where he grew up, then he is being forced to decide for himself.
So on the responsibility side, I would dive a bit personal because it was a bit abstract your answer, and it's particular to you that was it stability, was it lack of opportunities, or just family and circumstances that made you stay at Steel Authority of India for 30 years?
No, 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 it was basically, I've looked at it a couple of times. It was basically, I was liking what I was doing. That was the biggest thing. Okay. And maybe I was working in an area where I didn't have to do routine, too much. There were opportunities for me to do something, very different. Every time it was a project kind of thing. So in terms of the involvement that one had, it was something which was, uh, which I liked. Also somehow, just by fate or chance, we happened to work in a department where access to the top management was very much there. So one was able to, have at the mid-level management itself, access to the chairman and the directors, which usually uh, move away from the kind of setup that we have in corporate office. It would be impossible for someone in the plant where you have thousands and thousands of people who are working, for them to be able to have access to executive director or to the management director. This is next to negligible till they are able to rise, over time. But that kind of access we had, and I enjoyed it. I did look into one or two, offers which had come. Some people approached, but somehow they were not lucrative enough. So that was that.
I say this
There,
because
there,
there was a sorry.
there was no, push on me, to strongly look for, things outside.
I say this because there was a particular time between 11th and 12th, you would definitely remember, but I wasn't doing great. I don't think you were doing great either, respectively. And do you regret not making a change, or do you think there was an opportunity that you might have had at that time?
Look, I mean, I'll tell you what, I had the post of a director. That was the last serious decision that I had. I had a post of director of finance in one of the PSUs. I went around, I talked to people and said that whether I should go for it because it definitely, would have put me to a different layer, although in a smaller company. So the advice that I was given was that, you see, I mean, you'll be losing out, you'll have to go away from Delhi, you'll be away from family and all. It's a small company. So, I mean, what the advice that I was given was that the loss, to me was more than the benefit. They said that you stick around when you become a general manager, maybe that would be a better time. So I let it go. This must have been 2012 or so
Yeah.
when this happened. So that was the last opportunity. Then I became GM. I did apply. There was a position for, I didn't apply for director then because I thought I should be going as a CEO. So it was just that. I mean, I have no regrets on that account because whatever I did in sale, it was
Mm.
for me very, very satisfactory. The problem that mostly happens is because you may come across a person who is your boss and you are just not able to pull along. So that happened with me. Okay, uh, but then he did recognize that what I was, and then he by 2013 he was gone. So the circumstances didn't linger on. Maybe I should have become easily an executive director in this company. That was the only thing that went away, and that was also a freak of it had to happen, I think, because there was an interview scheduled in 2017 or 18, and just then our chairman changed, and because of which the entire interview schedule was put
Mhm.
off for a couple of
Mhm.
months, and you had some 2 years eligibility criteria which I lost out because of the shifting. It just happened in that month. Otherwise I would have become executive director, and when I look at it, executive director was a post which I would have acquired in this company. So it was just sheer chance that it did not come my way, because I would have got that position definitely, I know that. So that's that. No regrets.
While working like, for what 30, 35 years, are there any particular traits, personality, or whatever that you hold dear to yourself that define who you were professionally or personally? Like, or do you just not prefer to be labeled in any way
No,
altogether?
no, no. I think people, who have seen me would associate with me with that, and I also enjoyed a bit because I started, by by basically talking about, the advantage that we had in economics, in a company which basically was of engineers. So to that extent, there was a difference that we were bringing on the table, and somehow we were able to, make people notice us on account of that, because our approach of those issues used to be very different from the way a typical engineer would approach. Then economics was not something that you could do in this company, although we were given the job, being economists. So what happened was that we went into, which was called planning, and we were good planners because we were good at documentation and making reports. Somehow at that point of time, a big happened in the company, which went, into a downhill because the steel industry worldwide was in big trouble. That forced us to work on something which is called turnaround, which was a very, very professionally satisfying thing for me to do. We also worked with some of the best people, in the world. McKinsey's, gave us consultancy. So we worked as a counterpart team along with them, and we could see how they work, the best in the world. Okay, and learned a lot from them. And also, I think that we were again able to, the basic things that we had worked on was something which had an acceptance. So this was a period of about maybe 5 years or so. 96, 97 it started, ended up in 2002 or so. By that time, I had the opportunity to move, and work along with the chairman, which I worked for 4 years, which was again something which was very interesting to be able to see the entire company. And our company is very, very huge. Okay. You don't have such big companies in India and maybe internationally. It's that big. So to be able to get a perspective at that level, to see the power play at that level was something which was very interesting. And I came back to business plan again. This was 2006 by the end of it. There were a number of things which I had not done earlier. We were basically planners. But then we got into a phase where we were basically negotiating for businesses. And then I negotiated business deals with one of the biggest companies in the world, ArcelorMittal, and with uh, POSCO. So it was phenomenal learning because then I was not making something on the paper. I was sitting down and negotiating a business deal with some of the biggest in the world. So that was a fantastic kind of a learning. So I mean, whatever I was able to put my hands on, I found it extremely interesting and different. I was not repeating myself. I was doing things that was different. It was a great deal of learning. I mean, learning in the sense that how actual deals get done, how contracts get signed off, how do you look into these things. So professionally it has been something which has been very, very satisfying for me. I'll say that. Maybe I would not have got better opportunities anywhere else. The kind of opportunities I was able to get in SAIL. And also before I joined SAIL, I was working with consultancy, which was nothing but it was basically project based things that we were doing, picking up projects, finishing it off, moving on to the next. If you see what I was doing in SAIL, it was not very different. I mean, it was again something which was not, we did not do something which had to be done in a routine manner throughout. So professionally, it has been extremely satisfying.
That's a complaint a lot of people have in large organizations, that change takes too much time. It takes months or years because there's a due process and you have to complete every single part of it to get the final signature and implementation. Did anything like that happen, or did it affect you in any way?
Change in the sense,
Let's say I want a new policy that will optimize the efficiency of my plant, or I want to streamline something
the
for all
truth, I
plants.
mean, look, my learning has been something like this. So in business, if you're joining a business, okay, or whatever entity, there would be things, which will be central to that business, and there would be things which will be peripheral to that business. For example, when you're doing steel business, okay, then how does one get to know, how is one able to optimize, production, how one is able to optimize, sales, okay? These would be the main concern for the company. In case you are able to participate in this aspect of business, okay, then you have, you know, a chance to get noticed by what you say, okay, and whatever suggestions you make would have value. There would be other parts of this business. For example, there's not a single, engineering discipline which is not present in a steel plant. It has such operations. Someone who is doing, who is a fantastic person, who is a chemical engineer, and looking into the looking into a byproduct plant, in cocoa ones. He necessarily becomes someone who is peripheral to the business. Or you take someone who is a brilliant IT person who has joined, SAIL to give IT inputs. He is not central to the business. We had here, our IT team. These people came with IT background. They must have done very well for themselves, academically. Otherwise, they would not be there. I always used to advise them only one thing: that look, unless somehow you become, central to the main business, whatever talent, if you may possess, it will not get recognized because you're not central to the scheme of things of the entity. So that is something that you must keep in mind. So in case you are an IT person and you want to give security, you have to be in that firm which provides cyber security. Okay, because then you are directly giving, contributing to the main service of the company. If you go and get, yourself in a company in which cyber security, would be ensured, then you're peripheral, because your job is something that could very well be delivered by an external agency. You're not a key, player to the scheme of things of the
Got it.
company. So that recognition you must have, and to make things happen, okay, you have to debate. There are different ways of making it happen. One is that supposing somehow you get an opportunity to work on a project which is considered important to the company, to work on the project, then it is on you to present it, defend it, and convince people. If it is a good, kind of a report that you prepared, then why would management, not accept it? And you have contributed to the change. Okay. The other way, that one can, contribute to change is only one rises, at a level where you have the power to make a change. So these are the two ways. In case still you are able to reach that position, it has to be basically, done through a project which you get associated with and telling people that why, what you said is meaningful.
Okay, that I think that's enough for technical talk. You're retired now officially. So, uh, did you have any 2020 plans, trips, escapades, anything that you were looking forward to before the entire lockdown happened?
No, no, no. Basically, there was a book, which more or less from my side is done. So that is behind me. PhD is there. There are some issues that I have to take care of. They are basically of technical nature. So if those issues are sorted, then maybe I can do it very quickly. But till those issues are not sorted, I need to give, maybe someone else who was more devoted would have done it. I thought that after I was through with the book, which was by the second week of September, I'll start working on it earnestly. I've not worked for more than 10 days on that, some bits and pieces. So that is there with me right now. After things get over, then probably, if somehow some consultancy comes, then that's something that one would do. Anyway, I did,
Mhm.
about 4 months of consultancy post-retirement for SAIL. So that was the interesting, kind of thing that kept me involved. And I've delivered lectures, and I find that, I'm able to have the interest of the audience. So maybe that is another thing that I'll look into it. Other than these two, I don't think much. Maybe, reading and watching things, which I have not been able to do. Maybe, getting back into those things which probably up to mid 90s were of great interest to me. Watching, classical dances, watching plays, watching movies, all that which has gone out of, my life. In case I am able to reconnect with it, it will be something which will be pretty good because they formed a very important part of my life. Maybe after I passed from the school up to, maybe early 90s, it was something which made me go on a regular basis from Janakpuri to places such like, Mandi House and other places. So I found it very, very, you know, I was very interested there in these things. This is an aspect of mine which is totally gone out of my life. Sports, had a big interest for me. I don't think that I will be able to play, but watching is something which I still enjoy. So 2020 is something which I'm enjoying watching. And after that,
So,
definitely, if Olympics happens next year, it will be a big thing for me.
Sherlock, you talked about you talked about a lot of things here. Talked about dance, music, sports, interacting with people. So I have a couple of questions either way. Uh, Regarding the interest of an audience, you're selectively social. That's who you've been since I've known you, at least. Are there any particular ideas, moments that allure you into conversation apart from politics?
It depends, because anything which I think is intellectually stimulating, I find I get drawn towards it. It could be, something which could be science, it could be economics, it could be philosophy, it could be literature. Wherever I think that there is something, which is being talked about, which has a depth of its own, I do get drawn towards it. So for quite some time, watching YouTube videos of some of the public intellectuals was something which I spent a lot of time doing, because I remember Chomsky I never heard before. Okay, some of the great atheists who lectured, so I could hear both sides of the conversation, and I gave quite some time to it, listening to them, and I found something very interesting was that at least some of the things that they were saying, I was able to arrive through my own thought process, not having read it anywhere. But when I logically tried to approach it, I'd come to a certain position, and I found that that got reconfirmed in what they were saying. So that was something interesting. So, I mean, anything that would be, you know, exciting intellectually is something that I look forward to. But not on a, I mean, this is something which is not a, something that one sustains for a prolonged period. It is like, some time to it, then off, again come back, again off.
But living or dead, would you want to have coffee or an hour's conversation with someone specific,
ऐसा
irrespective
कुछ
of
नहीं है
a domain?
नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है I mean
Has
there's no
has
particular
anyone inspired to the point to make you think I have to talk to this person once in my life at least?
not really. Not really, because at least the things that people have to give to you, I think is captured in probably in a much more systematic way in a talk that they may have given or a book that they may have written. So if that is what you want to get out on a particular subject or through a particular person, then the best thing is to read what they have written, okay, or listen to them speak. So that I think gives you a pretty good idea, because conversation that one may be having would be having its own limitation in terms of the time that we may have, or our own understanding that at that point of time to be able to have that conversation. You may not be able to maybe understand a bit of what they're saying. Maybe know talking or listening to others gives you a better perspective of it, which you may not be able to catch at that point of time. I remember Sain had come and he had delivered a lecture in Delhi school when I was in my MA previous. We heard it, and at least I and many of us found that it was something which was ordinary. It basically was talking about rights vis-a-vis utilitarianism, and I learned it only when I went through Sandel's, lecture. So I'm talking about something that I heard in '81, and I learned about what he was really talking something sometime during 2012. So you can just understand that what is the kind of, and I could understand it because I could understand the debate, between these two schools only at that point of time. Maybe in case I was a philosophy student, I would have been able to appreciate. But given the fact, the exposure that we had got in economics, and I don't think that anyone else in the hall were able to appreciate it as much, because we had toppers and others, who were brilliant, but they also said something similar to what we would have said. So,
So we agree here that knowledge is something the more people talk about, the more people engage in it with an open
yeah,
mind. It should
yeah,
be shared.
yeah.
But apart from familial discussions, closed discussions of five, six people, Is there any way to dissipate this information one's learned? Like, if you say right now at the age of 60, you know a lot that many people don't. But if I would say, apart from your circle, is there any way that the people from the middle class, the lower middle class, would can or try to understand the relevance of it and why it's important? Because I don't want things as stimulating as philosophy, psychology, the theory of justice and morality to just be something that the elites talk about.
Look, different people at different points of time have different needs. So you'll have to see that, what kind of a need one is fulfilling. Supposing I was to, talk to a class, maybe eight students in a particular school which is not privileged, and I was to give a lecture, I just try to, show some interesting aspects of a particular, subject, so that it may spark off some idea or some thinking, some curiosity in someone's mind. You can't do beyond that, because there is a system which one has to go through, and that system has its own strengths, because to be able to have a kind of a practical life, you need to go through those steps, the typical subjects, which have been worked out at the school level and then in college level, and those are the things that one has to go through. So, I mean, beyond that will be occupying, 90% of someone's time as it is. It's only, minimal left for anything else. So, depends on what void you want to fill in. Because mostly, people have issues at that level that they probably would require someone to be able to either identify the skills or the talent that they have, so that that can get nurtured over time, so that they are able to uh, become that, or maybe create a curiosity which one may be able to follow up, or maybe tell them in a better manner what they are doing, than someone who is supposed to do it for them, their own teachers is able to do. Beyond that, I can't see that what else can one do, because these are things which are not to be tackled, at a personal level. You have to become a part of the system, because the changes come only in case it is done collectively and through a systemic, manner. Otherwise, at best that you can do is that you may be able to influence, four or five people in your life. But if you are working with an NGO which is able to have, a kind of a scale that may be able to impact, a lakh or few lakhs, so then you have scaled it up. Ultimately, it has to be scaled, at the level that transformation much bigger, happens in the society. As an individual, I think there would be limitation.
Are you in favor of a top-down or a bottom-up approach in that case?
I don't understand. Depends on what one is talking about.
So again, like if you want to bring any change, education, just bringing education across basic needs, what do you need to do? Sustenance, laws, uh, everything.
No, 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 no.
Do you
One is,
start on the local level
no,
and
no,
then create
no.
an optimum case for each locality or each taluk or each
Yeah, yeah.
area, and then you
There are
go.
already there are already things which have happened. For example, Kerala already was a state, which had a much better education performance compared to the rest of the India. Gradually, some other states also like HP and all, they did, and there is 100% literacy. So it is not something totally new to be discovered. Because if you look into the entire the way the debate of on education has gone about, is that education is important because it allows to be able to exercise in a choice in a manner you would not be able to do in case you did not have education. Your choice set, of what you can do in life gets limited for people who have not had education. And if you have more of education, then your choice set, becomes so much wider. So this is how people have linked it, in terms of A, being able to have a greater choice for you to be able to make your life. Okay. Number two, uh, it was just in my mind, it just, slipped out of it. So, uh, in India, if you were to look, then there is something that happened. We didn't have much, of resources, and we did not concentrate on education, which we still are not able to do it. And that is an area which needs to be attended. How it will get attended, I think there are many, uh, good people. There are many organizations who have done a lot of work. So I don't think there is something, which is not available to, in case someone is serious about it, to go ahead and work upon it.
So that's what I alluded to when I said top down or bottom up. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was something that was launched from the center to all the states. Something that I believe would start at a local grassroots level and then gain traction enough to the state government and finally to the center would be bottom up for me. That's why I asked you, like, would you be a top down person or a bottom up person?
Difficult to say. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, again, it will depend on what we're talking about. Bottom up does not happen that easily, because you got different levels of empowerment, different stratification. So how does bottom up happen? It's difficult. The way, in systemic way, it has been addressed. They try to address it by instituting, Panchayati Raj system, which happened sometime during the 80s, where they thought that the power, was much more centered, in terms of people who were from IAS. So a panchayat, in case, it is able to get that power, then it will be able to exercise that power, to its own benefit, knowing its local conditions much better than a person who comes there and spends, a year or 2 year as a DC or whatever. So these things have been worked upon. बहुत बड़ा फील्ड है, बहुत लोगों ने काम किया है. I don't know
Okay.
कि what is it that can be driven, bottom up. Bottom up
Okay.
चीजें जो होती हैं वो usually वो social movements में होती हैं. If you are able to have a mobilization, you think there is something which requires a change, and you are able to mobilize people, and this mobilization coerces, the power, to make out things, which probably is important for the masses. So, but you can't have, too many things which will go bottom up. You can try to get, their inputs from people, who are working at the grassroots level. If that is bottom up, then that should be done anyway.
The only counter argument to that is, at least what I've heard from my friends who are in government jobs, is that what happens is a sort of Chinese whisper. The order or the bill that comes or the policy that comes out and is rolled out is finally just a fraction of what actually the policy meant.
We basically many times people how does policy get framed? It will always be, there would be an interplay there. Whenever you bring out a policy, there would be having implications for people who may gain, people who may lose. So it would be interplay between, the people who are drafting it, how they themselves, perceive things, So that would be one way. And number two, how a compromise, gets thrashed out between those who gain and those who lose. So this is something which is inevitable. This will happen. That's why you need to have, kind of countervailing, checks and balances. This is what one tried to create at a bigger level. You see, managing a country, you again try to get, these countervailing powers which do not function properly in our country, which otherwise was supposed to have been created for that only. When you talk about having independent judiciary, or having, a press and a media which is independent, when one talks about, having the right to information, okay, those things, or when you talk about having an independent auditor, CAG and others, this is exactly how the system had been conceived, but it has not worked out. It has not worked out because of there were various political reasons why. not worked out. So it will be country specific thing. It will be a time specific thing. Okay. It will be political leadership, specific things. You really come to it. I don't think that there is a easy solution to be had, because again I say that if solutions were easy, it would have happened by now. If, despite the problems, despite the aspiration to become, a leading country in the world, despite the aspiration to be able to transform lives of people within a decade, if it is not happening, then there are issues, which have to be tackled, and it's not easy. First, we must start by assuming that it is not something that can be very easily done. Otherwise, it would have happened in these 70 years.
That's realistic and pragmatic take. Sadly, I do not want to end it on this note, so I'll ask you just two or three personal questions to end it on a relatively positive note. Uh, is there any childhood dream that you still are vying to complete?
No, I don't think so. Childhood dreams so funny. For example,
Not
maybe I would have
childhood, I
wanted
mean,
to become
whatever.
a
You had when you
no.
were
I may have
21,
wanted to
25.
become a cricket player, but that become very clear to me by the time I was in college, when I saw the kind of talent that people had, and how how easier it is to be able to make through in life, by education, rather than these other skills, which tend to be extremely competitive and much less rewarding, and have a very very short span of life. Cricketer's life, would start at 21, 22, end up at 35. So it's just about 15 years to make whatever want to do with it. Put any other thing that you would have put a fraction of that effort in, and you would be much far ahead, in life out of that. So the reward and the effort part, I think it's easier not to go venture into those areas.
Well said. I'll end this in a very stereotypical Indian fashion. Being brutally honest, uh, what do you think of your son who is currently in a tumultuous point in life with heaps of uncertainty? And what do you
I'll
think about it?
only say one thing. One is that, do not, you got scope to see that what are the things that interest you. Okay. You have known, something through what you studied, what you worked. So that is one part. Okay. It is interesting, but it may not be the only thing, that you may be good at. It may not be the only thing that you may want to do. So you may have options, beyond IT, beyond cyber security. So when you go for higher studies, don't close yourselves to those options. Okay. uh, be open to it. Okay. And then have a kind of a confidence. You just look around, see that how people are able to live their life. Many people who have come out, with so much struggle, and they have been able to make it. So it is something which can be done. Okay. And maybe you did not encounter a similar struggle which a person who is living in a semi-urban area, who maybe did not have parents who are literate. Okay. But still has aspiration to be make it somewhere in the life, and maybe ended up doing something, as your Bua's, she interacted with someone who was heading, one of the top institutions, and his father was a domestic servant. So coming from that circumstance, he went to those levels. It tells you that you can do. I mean, the life has been easier for one, compared to those people. So mm, it, 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 it is not very difficult, to be able to gain things in life. Okay, it is not very difficult to live a life which is more fulfilling. It is not difficult to, have friends who are good, supportive, and sensible people, with you. Okay, and if anything, which comes down comes, then you have to take it as a part of life. Okay. Nehru was not outstanding in academic. He did not do very well academically. So what? Okay. Gandhi was not able to, present his case first time when he stood, in the court to plead, to the judges. So what? I mean, look at those cases and then look at you. I mean, this is nothing. Okay. Go ahead. Enjoy yourself. Make out your life what it should become. Okay. Do what interests you. You have got, that kind of freedom. Exercise it, indulge yourself in things that interest you. Make out the life which you want to live. Don't live, a life which someone else wants to live for you or want you to live. That's it.
That's an amazing note on to end it. It's been 50 minutes. Thanks.